You're not a man. Go back and defend your home. You don't dare to fuck with me. This country is free for its citizens, but it's not free for immigrants. You're not welcome in here. And if you're a little bit shocked with these words, then you will listen to this episode of Draftful podcast, hosted by me, Vova Zeeon, Ukrainian immigrant and amateur stand-up comedian who is struggling to make it in Toronto. Basically, I will remind you that this podcast is my open mic where I'm talking the unfiltered and raw stuff from my drafts, which are usually my daily observations and my thoughts on different stuff. So if you like it, if you like this unfiltered and raw art, you're warmly welcome to support me on Buy Me a Coffee. So don't be afraid, go via the link in bio and you can donate something. Throw me a couple of coins and that will support me in here, and I will go on with doing all that stuff that I'm doing right now. So let's roll. So I thought that I should explain those bizarre words that I've started my podcast with. And those words are actually true. And they took place just recently, and they were said by the person who I know and who I thought was my friend, but turns out he's just like the actual dumbest. Yeah, you know. And he's Canadian, which was like a little bit more upsetting for me. I know that there is a lot of different controversial opinions, that there are some conservatives, there are some liberals, and they are fighting each other. But the thing is, that was actually funny for me, that this guy is not that typical liberal or typical conservative person who can you meet like by chatting in Canadian community. I met him like 2 years ago when I moved to Canada, and we had a spare balcony where we hang out daily. We were just drinking beers, like smoking cigarettes and whatever. Everything was fine. We were chatting. We were just doing the cultural exchange. I told him about Ukraine. He told me about Canada, and that was fun. I figured out that this guy works as the dance teacher. He teaches ballet, and ballet is pretty interesting and controversial thing, especially if you are acting like a total idiot, which pisses me off right now. And I figured out, like, he told me about himself that he's gay, and he's also he is a native person. And I was pretty interested. I was talking to him. I didn't mean to harm him or whatever it was, because like I was sincere. I thought, and I've heard a lot of different stuff that he went through, and I was actually proud of him, like how he made it in here. But the only thing that like was making me aware of him is his addiction to weed and alcohol, because I've seen how actually it affected his personality when we were sitting and hanging out. At first time he would be really cheerful, friendly and helpful, but as soon as he dived into that state, when he was drunk or intoxicated, he became more aggressive. And first time I didn't give any attention to that. I was like, okay, sometimes that happens. You have a different personality under the alcohol affection or whatever. But the thing went different at some point when he started sexually harass me. He thought probably that he somehow can make me into intimacy with him. So he first of all hugged me, and then he started to kiss my neck, and that was pretty weird. And I was like, oh, sorry, man. I was really, really polite with him. I told him, sorry, man, I understand that you may have some kind of feeling for me, but I am a straight guy. I can't. I just can't. It's not my thing. And he was like, okay, I still love you and whatever. But then after that moment, the first time it happened to me, it was changing his behavior completely. At some random point, he started to talk shit about my country. He started to talk like, oh, you're so dumb immigrant, you can't understand what's going on here in Canada, and why then you're not going back to your country and not defending it from Russians, and even if Russia is gonna take Ukraine, what the fuck is going on? Ukraine is not the country and all that shit. So basic stuff that basic uneducated people are trying to sell you through the different media, and like they're talking shit on the internet, because like they don't know the full context, the full picture of what's going on in there and how was it. And they don't need. I don't blame them. It's okay to do not know what other countries are going through. But the thing that pissed me off is that guy were actually talking shit because he tried to manipulate with me in that way. He tried to humiliate me, trying to talk shit about my male dignity and how dare I be here. And I was taking it as a joke for the first time, but then he started to do this systematically, and we were hanging out with the different Ukrainian guys as well. Like there was another neighbor who was Ukrainian, and then my friend who is also the comedian who hanged out with us, and he heard that shit also, and he was like, okay, yeah, probably he's just joking, yeah, it's funny. But then I've realized it's not a joke, because like every single time that I've seen him and he got drunk, he started to act that kind of aggressive way. Yeah, because first conflict that we faced was on Christmas 2024. We went into the bar and we just sit there, we just drank some beer, hang out, just talk to each other, and then he was absolutely drunk. He started to like harass me again, like, why don't you come to my room and all that shit, and like hugging. I was really polite. I didn't like do anything that would make him uncomfortable or whatever, but I think that actually pissed him off, because like I was kind of ignoring, I didn't react, and he tried to gaslight me in that way. So yeah, I stopped talking to him, and he was like, oh yeah, so now spend your Christmas in your own loneliness, in your solitude. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I'm alone, and I've actually been sick, so I spend my Christmas all alone. But then he started to text me like, why did you go there, and like, why did you go to my place, and we are hanging out, we're celebrating. I said, no dude, I'm sick and I don't want to. And I was really offended with that. I was insulted with his behavior, because I think every normal human being, as soon as he hears a lot of shit in his own address, you won't like communicate with that person. But I was that foolish. I think I was the shit magnet because of my just my idiotic vision and my idiotic belief in something, in kindness, in much better person than he actually showed me he is. So yeah, I started to talk with him again. Then I moved to another place, and he was like, oh guy, I'm missing you, like we need to hang out. So we hang out, and every single time we hang out, it all came to the same spot of the story. I felt that tension, and I realized, okay, that couldn't be much shit anymore. I need to quit it. So I just didn't text him. I didn't support any kind of contact. And then I realized that my friend, my fellow comedian, was looking for an apartment, and I recommended his unit because, it was actually one of the cheapest options in here in Toronto. And Yeah, it was kind of fair. I mean, like he could go and he could live in there, uh, which was great for him. And that person that I'm talking about was also excited about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, we can hang out like three of us together. Yeah, that's good. I'll see you more frequently here." And yeah, we just celebrated. We helped like to move in to my friend, and again, every single thing started to repeat, like sexual harassment, shit talking, anti-immigrant, hate speech, everything wasn't there. So I decided to block him and not to answer. The only thing that was really upsetting was the option that is not like available on iPhone. You can't block the messages from a guy. You can't block the phone. You can block the caller, so he cannot call you, but you can't block the messages. And somehow, yeah, he was again so upset and pissed off that I just lost the contact with him. And my friend was again like listening to that shit and just stood up. So he told him that you shouldn't fucking do that. You shouldn't fucking speak in that way. Or in another way, I will report you to your employer and to your landlord and the police because of the harassment. And he was so upset, and he was like, "Oh, he threatened me to deal with me in a physical way. I didn't want to have that, so I'm texting you again." And he started to text me and talk shit about everything. And then, like, next day after he gets sober again, like, he was, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I said that." And like, dude, you're not sorry. You're doing that systematically. What's wrong with you? Don't write to me anymore. Don't text me. Don't try to contact me. And the shit happened again just a couple of days ago. He was pissed off with something, so he was like texting me again and like, "Can you tell your friend that he shouldn't do this, this, and this? You need to take care of him. You need to like teach him how to behave." And I understood it. He was drunk and high because, you know, it's the regular way of him to communicate. So he couldn't face everything like in a sober way. He was really cowardless. Oh, not cowardless. Sorry, he was a coward person. Yeah, like so. Yeah, he started to text me, and I was like, "Why do you address this shit to me? Because he's my friend. You can talk to him personally. It's your neighbor. It's your roommate. You just need to talk to each other and communicate. I don't want to talk to you." And then he started to harass me again. He started like to talk shit and whatever. So yeah, that was the decision that I decided. Like, I have a final message of it. I've ignored him for the rest of the night when he was texting. And in the morning I've written him the whole message. Like, this is the final message. I tell you, as soon as you're moving on with your texting, I will use all the screenshots and all the screen recorded video with your texting to report you to your employer, police, and the landlord. Because he started to talk like, "Oh, there is another room and it's cheap, and I've heard you would like to move in. Don't move in." And like, you know, he starts to talk different toxic shit, and that pissed me off. And that's how actually, like, the story made me understand that as soon as you have a little bit of power, as soon as you have a little bit of that disguise that you may hide, yeah, like the whole shit that you may hide behind that disguise, behind that politeness, you don't need to be a nice guy. You can be polite for everything. You can do charity like idiot. You can go and feed homeless people or whatever. Yeah, like, or the poor people, poor immigrants, and then you can hate them. That's the double standard thing. It's like Gandhi, who was talking about like how he wouldn't let any person to do injection for his wife because of his religion. And then when he was dying of a same disease, he actually used it because like he didn't want to die. That's so hypocritic. And I completely understand. What do you think about it? Drop a comment below if you know and you think this story is kind of bizarre and you want to chat about it. Let's go. Let's do it. If not, and you're just a dumb asshole like this guy, you know what to do. Drop a comment too. I will listen to both sides of you people who took place in this discussion.
Let's be honest, I didn't want to turn this episode into an immigrant manifesto, but somehow while I was recording, I realized that I actually need to do this. Because the whole image of an immigrant in the heads of people all across the world is the same. Immigrant should be humble, should be grateful, should be comfortable, and always should be silent about the shit that surrounds him. That's what I've been actually facing in here. I'm not talking about the single cases when people are really acting in a bizarre way, when they are criminals and all that stuff. Criminals are criminals everywhere. It's not the fault of immigration. It's the fault of less regulated relationships in between the government, the state, and the people who are living in there. It's the lack of understanding what human rights are needed to be covered in here. But somehow, we still have that problem. It's like the person gets the whole entire bread. They get the help from the country, from the person who gave them shelter. And somehow that person who gave the shelter starts to give the refugee the piece of shit instead of the piece of bread. Would it be fair? I doubt it. But somehow they think that they need to be grateful, they need to be silent, and they need to take that shit. But I don't want to be that kind of person. I just know such people who would do that because they can't say anything because they are afraid. They're afraid that they won't be able to make it in the country. They will be judged and all this stuff. I'm not afraid of being judged. I went through too much shit in my life. You know what I mean? And now I just don't give a fuck about it. I don't give a fuck about judgment. The only thing that pisses me off is when we are trying to create the really healthy human relations, but somehow we're missing a lot of different stuff to make through the world. And as soon as my podcast is also about the stand-up comedy, I see it in stand-up comedy as well. The narrative about the humble, silent, and comfortable immigrant is widely told from the stage. It is how it is, and it's comfortable because it's not niche. It's really, really accessible for all of the people who are going in there. They need to laugh from the person who actually is a little bit different than another one, or much more different. That's why there were a massive layers of the racism, sexism, homophobia jokes, xenophobia jokes. Yeah, it's because people want to feel safe in their own community. And when the immigrant comedian goes up there and talks shit about the country or about the rules and about the laws that are pissing him off, they are scared because they've never thought about it. They've never thought about the shit that were surrounding them. they always wanted to see a really stereotypical person who has an accent and who will dance as a monkey on the stage. That's actually the second story that happened to me, but I won't mention it today. I've actually had the thing where one of the other comedians, or self-called comedians, because he's not actually a comic, he's a piece of shit, also was trying to film me on the phone and just trying to make a joke out of me, like dance monkey dance and all that stuff. But it's a completely different story. So what I'm trying to say, let's not divide people into citizens and immigrants. Let's please stay the adequate and normal human beings. It was a Draftful Dodger. My name is Vova Zeeon. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. And the closing title would be by Dorian Concept. Hide, slow version.